Wilson adds another player to its legendary franchise. This is the Wilson Pro Staff X V14. For 2023, the Pro Staff family welcomes a new member. This racket maintains many features of the Pro Staff 97 V14, including the string pattern, beam width, and technologies, but what makes it different is its 100 square inch frame, making the racket a bit more forgiving. Paradigm bending helps recapture the original Pro Staff formula, which optimizes the flex between hoop and shaft, while 45 technology provides increased dwell time and pocketing. Stable enough for big hitters, this is a great option for intermediate and advanced players wanting to be a part of one of the most iconic franchises. I'm going to start off this play test as your resident Pro Staff user, calling the RF97 my racket of choice and seriously considering a switch to the Pro Staff 97 V14. Play testing this 100 square inch version was super amazing. It was so fun to swing this racket because for me it swung a bit faster, but the feel is so familiar. It felt just like home for me, except an even bigger sweet spot, even more forgiving. I felt like I could ramp up the power and get the ball spinning a bit more than those smaller head size Pro Staff rackets. On serve, I honestly felt like I could not miss a ball in the net. I loved that about this racket. It was really easy to hit big, powerful serves, but I still enjoyed tons of control and precision at net, super stable, everything that I would want from a Pro Staff up there. And I felt really dialed in with my returns and my ground strokes. So I think this is definitely a racket. If the Pro Staff line has maybe intimidated you before, this is a great place to start.
I was really looking forward to this playtest of this new head size of the Pro Staff, and immediately I found a better spin window in this racket, and so I felt like I was working my angles, opening up the court better with this option. Also really liked it from the baseline because it was super forgiving, it's fast, it's whippy, comes through contact nicely, and I got good launch and good depth on my shot. So just a slightly different ball I was hitting, especially compared to the 97. That one really plowed through and I felt like I was driving the ball really well. This one, I felt like I could roll the ball, get nice height over the net, get the ball dipping inside the line still, and also find those angles I mentioned at the beginning of my comments. Up at net, it's faster in the hand, not quite as rock solid as the 97, and it offers a crisper feel, more of a Pro Staff feel than like a 6-1 100 would, which is a bit flexy, a bit more forgiving. This one I just felt very connected. The ball went right where I had the strings lined up. Thought it paired excellently with a poly, put some Lux Alu power on this and you're good to go. Gives you great access to spin, lots of bite on the ball. The poly helps bring in some control and the racket does the rest. So super fun playtest for me. Good power and pace on serve too. I think a bigger, stronger player could definitely weight this one up and play around with some customization, maybe put a leather grip on it. But in stock form, really enjoyable playtest for me. Let's check in with our East Coast playtesters. Austin, how did this one work out for you?
Thanks, Chris. My experience with the Pro Staff goes all the way back to the Encode, and so I was really curious coming into this playtest to see exactly how Wilson continues to modernize and develop its latest innovation in the Pro Staff X. I found out where the racket really shined brightest for me was from the baseline. Hitting between 60 to 80% power and stepping in, I was able to settle into a nice rhythm and drive my opponents off the baseline with the weight of shot and depth that the Pro Staff X offers. The trade-off, and my biggest gripe about the racket, is a pretty demanding sweet spot that entails a degree of springiness or some launchy shots from off-center hits. Redlining or hitting out was not this racket's strong suit, and I found myself reluctant to go for riskier winners, as I found the X's slightly more open string pattern not to be as precise as its 97 square inch counterpart. Lastly, launch angle off the string bed is pretty low, so I found myself fighting to generate spin, and with the racket head speed this racket demands, I found I struggled to get myself back into points where I was pulled off the court. All in all, the Pro Staff X is a modern take on a storied classic racket aimed at the intermediate to advanced player who prioritizes stability, plow through, and feel in an attacking all-court game.
You know the feeling when you meet the right person just at the right time and everything comes together perfectly? That's exactly what happened with the Pro Staff X and me. It was love at first sight. The Pro Staff X is a great entry into the Pro Staff line if you're comfortable with that 315 gram unstrung weight. It does feel like a true Pro Staff with the precision and control you're getting, except this one will have some added spin that I was actually desperately looking for with the previous generations that I tried before, and I was very happy with this. The racket provides just enough power, but not too much. I would definitely say that you do have to step into the balls early on and hit full swings with the Pro Staff X to get the most out of it, and it will reward you with shots that are extremely stable and that will definitely turn heads on the court. One shot that tends to be a bit of a pain point for me is my backhand return, especially with my one-handed backhand. But actually I did feel confident enough with the Pro Staff X to step into those shots and gain control of the rally early on. And the racket was not getting pushed around at all. It was definitely a highlight for me and it made a big difference for my game. The stability definitely translated into the volleys and slices as well. Absolutely no complaints. I enjoyed those shots very much. The balls stayed nice and low on those. All in all, I am absolutely in love with this racket and I think you should definitely give it a try. We are now going to head over to Tennis Warehouse Europe in Germany to see how this racket tested with their playtesters. Simo, what are your thoughts on the new Pro Staff X?
Thanks, Sophie, and hello everyone from Europe. I was very curious to know if this new version of the Pro Staff with this slightly larger head size was really going to be easier to play, and I must admit that this racket surprised me in a positive way. First of all, on my ground stroke, I really appreciate the control that this frame provides and the great feelings that I had at the impact with the ball, and it made me feel more confident on the court and play more relaxed, and I think that's one of the key to fully benefit from the racket strengths. I really liked also the balance, which offer great maneuverability for a racket of this weight, and it allowed me to increase my swing speed to gain both power and spin. And thanks to this, I was able to target some short cross-court area more easily and put my opponent under pressure. At the net and at the serve return, I really appreciate the stability of the rackets on fast ball, which allow me to keep a lot of precision. However, I did have a little more trouble on rallies and when I was under pressure, but that's not a surprise as this racket is still demanding and can really make you pay for poor positioning or adjustment, even though this version offers more forgiveness. So all in all, it was a great experience for me playing with this new Pro Staff X. I recommend it to advanced players who have a lot of natural power and are looking for control and precision.
Thank you very much for the details, Simon. First, as I love to start my reviews, I would like to focus on the design of this new Pro Staff version 14. It's a beautiful color between bronze and copper. We can see that Wilson gave a new direction to all the rackets following the blades, ultras and clash designs. About the detail of this new Pro Staff X, I can say that the new addition to Wilson's most legendary franchise provides a slightly more forgiving hitting experience for me. With a bigger X size, it makes me feel a bit more powerful and still super precise on my shots from the baseline. The stability and the precision are the keys to this racket. It gave me a lot of confidence when I decided to come to the net and finish the point. My backhand slices were harder to control for my opponent as well. I got the sensation that my volleys were more precise, and the stability of this racket gave me the options to finish the points in an easier way. About my serve, I was allowed to hit some good flats and slices serve, however, it was a bit hard to kick the ball in my second serve. The racket allows me to do some serve and volley with a huge control. About the return, what a control! When I hit the ball perfectly on the sweet spots, my returns allow me to control the points with a great advantage. I also use the backhand slices to give me some time to enter the point after the first shot. Overall, I will say that this racket is made for advanced and experienced players who already have power and needs more control and stability into their game.
We play tested the Pro Staff X with many different string setups, but liked it best with Lux One ALU power at 52 pounds. To learn more about this racket or any others, please visit us at Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.